Oh, it's our pleasure to welcome now Kelly Bennett, Multimedia Journalist, SuperTalk Mississippi News. What's happening
Morning,
there,
guys.
Kelly? What is
Happy
going
Friday.
on? Absolutely.
Well, let's start with the frigid temperatures that are expected to move into Mississippi starting on Sunday night. And this is going to take place across the state, actually. But the greatest chance of impact to travel and possible power outages from a mixture of snow, sleet, and freezing rain, according to the National Weather Service in Jackson, will generally be along and southeast of the Natchez Trace Corridor. I thought this was kind of interesting. Just in case your power does go out, the State Department of Health wants you to know if you lose power, but it's for less than 4 hours, the food in your refrigerator will still be safe. And freezers can keep your food safe for up to 48 hours if they're full, 24 hours if they're about half full, which is where mine would be. Because I live alone.
So,
I don't do that.
in other words, you don't need a refrigerator for a day or so, huh? Is what it sounded like.
I guess you could just put your food out in the snow.
Put it outside, sure. Absolutely. Man, that's so we were just talking about that earlier, Kelly. What's the latest forecast? Just looking at those bands, the pink and the blue and whatever the other color is that represents the various types of wintry precipitation, that it's mostly draped across the southern half of our state.
Yeah, I saw the wind chill on the coast was going to be around 20 or a little less than 20 degrees, which that's pretty concerning. We don't get those kind of temperatures very often on the coast. I think folks in North Mississippi will be much more prepared for this. Were you guys, I thought I heard you talking about snow in New Orleans.
Yeah, that's what we saw that on the map. Isn't that right? Rhino, it shows whatever the color is, blue, pink. I can't remember anymore. I think it's blue, right? That represents snow.
Yeah, they've got a chance on Tuesday, about a 35% chance.
Of snow, right?
Well,
yeah.
I have seen snow in South Mississippi in the past. It doesn't happen very often. But you know what cracks me up? I lived in the Northeast for a while. I'm an Army brat, so I've lived all over the place. I've been in snow country. The people in South Mississippi, when it snows, they get so excited about it, they'll open the door to go look at it. I'm like, dude, you can see it through the window without the cold blast of air.
Oh, my gosh.
So that's coming. Everybody prepare for that. Just before I came onto your show, Gerard, I got a press release from Senator Cindy Hyde-Smith's office, and she is celebrating today the signing of a record of decision that clears the way for the construction of this long-sought flood control project for the Yazoo backwater area. So that's the story I'm going to be working on here in a minute. But that's great news for folks in the Delta.
Yeah, man. It sure is. I know she's been heavily involved in that for quite some time, and this seems like it's been a long time coming. And it's good news there for the state of Mississippi, certainly the Delta. That's great. What else? We also had
some breaking news this morning. The Supreme Court upheld the law that forces TikTok to divest its parent company or be banned. Now, here's next steps. President Biden says he won't be enforcing the ban when it takes effect on January 19th. So that's Sunday. That's going to leave the decision in the hands of President-elect Donald Trump, who's promising to try to save TikTok. Now, in the past, he had been for the ban. He's changed his position on that. That happens. I thought this was really interesting, though. We've got a Mississippi TikTok creator by the name of Topher. He's also a rapper and entrepreneur. This guy has really done his homework, and he opposes the ban, and here's why.
Well, for two reasons. The first reason being that it's a vital source of income for me and my family. And two, when it comes to my First Amendment right, as a veteran, I served in the armed forces to procure these rights to make sure that they remain, protected.
And here's something you might not think about, but Topher has. He's told us that TikTok added $24 billion to the U.S. GDP in 2023.
We have small businesses that credit, over 60% of small businesses that credit TikTok for the growth. And we're seeing these jobs. I think TikTok right now is responsible for over 250,000 jobs.
So you're not just talking about banning an app, you're talking about people's livelihoods and side
There's a lot of
gigs.
commerce. Yeah, no doubt. A lot of people have built businesses around the platform, and they're benefiting from those, and there are a lot of jobs that have been created as a result. So it would be very disruptive, no doubt.
In his final days in office, you got President Biden moving to ban offshore oil and gas drilling in most U.S. coastal waters. I heard you mention this earlier. This move was seen by a lot of people as an effort to block incoming President Donald Trump from expanding offshore drilling and fulfilling his promise to unleash American energy. Remember how Trump kept saying, drill, drill, drill? What's the first thing you will do when you take office? Drill, drill, drill. Well, Philip Chambly, the executive director of the Mississippi Petroleum Marketers Association, talked about this.
One of the things that's unusual about this particular act is the fact the way, as I understand it, it's going to take literally an act of Congress to reverse it.
Yeah, they found a way to manage that. So Trump is expected to enact executive orders aimed at boosting U.S. oil and gas production on his first day in office. Here's how he could do it. He could direct the Energy Department to start approving new permits for LNG terminals immediately through an executive order. That would end a temporary pause the Biden administration instituted in January of 2024, so the Energy Department can study the impacts of more LNG exports on the economy, national security, other climate crisis. I think a lot of folks are just ready for Trump to get in and see some of these Biden administration policies disappear.
Yeah, and that's what I think are the first set of executive orders going to consist of, or just rolling back those issued under President Biden, which were many of those were a reversal of Trump's from his first term.
They're saying on his first day in office, Trump is expected to sign around 100 executive orders, so it'll be interesting to see those as they come down.
It totally is. So what about back home here in the state of Mississippi? What's going on there? HB 1.
Okay. Reading this bill, I know you have like hours to talk about what this bill does. In the newsroom, we've got 60 seconds to try to lay this puppy out, and there's so much in this bill. But I think one of the big rumors that I'd like to lay to rest is the fact that it would increase your property taxes. So Representative Trey Lamar, who is the chair of the House Ways and Means Committee, told us that is absolutely not going to happen.
In fact, it could encourage property taxes to be reduced. That's another beauty, just a really delightful part of this plan, because if, for instance, let's say the city of Oxford decides that, you know what, we're doing pretty good in Oxford, we'd like some extra money, but we don't quite need $2.1 million in extra money, so we can do something with 1.5, and let's take 600,000 of that, give it back as a property tax reduction. There could be cities that would have the option to do that, or they may have real needs. They may need a new fire department, more policemen on staff. It gives the cities the flexibility to do some of those things with their budgets.
Now, the argument against House Bill 1, which is the, let's call it sweeping tax reform. That's what it is. There's so much to it. The argument against it is that all this federal COVID money, the helicopter money, as I've heard you refer to it, is coming to an end. So there are concerns about how this is really going to impact the state budget. But like you've said, it's over a 10-year period. That's a lot of math. That is like, it hurts my head math.
Yeah, it's fun. I love it, of course.
I'm glad you do. I like the English. I'm a writer, not a mathematician.
Well, that's what makes the world go round. Everybody's got their skills and their strengths. And but this one, you got to use a little brain power in the math category. Unfortunately, as you know, taxes are just complicated. We've made them complicated, and that didn't happen yesterday. That's been going on for since we've been doing taxes, honestly. Well, it will be interesting for sure, and I know we'll be talking to you some more during the session. I think once we get past this tax legislation, a whole lot more is on the table we'll be talking about. But, Kelly, always good to see you. Have a great weekend.
And don't forget, if you want details on these stories, just go to supertalk.fm.
Fantastic. Kelly Bennett, Multimedia Journalist, SuperTalk Mississippi News, everyone. Coming right back. We got a lot more to talk about on Midday. Stay